right, let's cut through the noise. We hear about AI constantly, but today we're going to talk about how it can stop being hype and start being genuinely helpful on a real factory floor. We're talking about real problems and real solutions right now. So let's just get right to it. We've all seen these incredible, mind-blowing images that AI can create out of thin air. It's amazing stuff. But the big question is, can any of that actually make your factory run better? Does it boost your yield? That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? And this slide, this just nails the disconnect. Over on the left, you've got the flashy stuff we see online. AI making instant logos, helping one person run a whole company. Super cool. But on the right, that's the stuff that actually matters in a factory. Hard numbers, production capacity, equipment uptime, yield rates. Two completely different worlds. So let's dig into that gap for a minute, because we've really got to understand this chasm between the glamorous AI everyone's talking about and the gritty practical needs of a factory. You know, this dream of a one-person company is super powerful. And honestly, for creative work, for marketing, generative AI is an absolute game changer. It can whip up materials that used to take a whole team days to make. It's a massive productivity boost. But, and it's a huge but, this is where we hit a brick wall. A beautiful report is nice to look at for sure, but it is not going to fix a jammed machine. It won't increase your yield rate one bit. A factory's challenges are in the physical world, not just on a screen. And that leads us to a massive, massive roadblock for using generic AI in manufacturing. It's this little problem called hallucination, where these models they just make stuff up. I absolutely love this Mandarin phrase because it captures it perfectly. Speaking nonsense with a straight face. The AI isn't trying to lie to you. It just gives you a completely wrong answer with all the confidence in the world. And in a factory, that's not just unhelpful, it's dangerous. So why does this even happen? Well, it's usually one of three things. Maybe you ask a vague question, or maybe the AI's information is super old. But for a factory, the real deal breaker is number 3. It has zero access to your private company data. It's completely blind. Let me put it this way. You can't walk up to a public AI model and ask, why was line 2 running slow yesterday? It'll just give you a blank stare. It has no idea what line 2 is. Your most critical real-time data is a total black box to it. Okay, so is it hopeless? Not at all. The good news is there's a really smart way to fix this. It's a technique called retrieval augmented generation, but everyone just calls it RAG. The easiest way to think about RAG is like giving the AI an open book test. But, and this is the genius part, the only book it's allowed to use is your own private, up-to-date company data. This forces it to ground every single answer in your reality, not the Wild West of the internet. So this is how it works without RAG. You ask a question, the AI dives into its massive brain of public internet data, and it gives you its best guess. Keyword there, guess. But RAG adds this brilliant step right in the middle. Your question doesn't go to the AI first. Nope. It gets intercepted by the RAG system, which acts like a hyper-efficient librarian for your company. It instantly finds the exact maintenance logs, production reports, and manuals that are relevant to your question. And this is where the magic happens. The RAG system takes your question, packages it together with the private data it just found, and then, only then, does it hand the whole bundle to the AI. Now the AI isn't guessing. It has the context. It's giving you a smart answer based on your own trusted facts. Okay, so that's the theory, which is great. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at a system called Prodia, which is built on this exact RAG architecture. This right here, this is the game changer. Imagine a factory manager, instead of spending an hour digging through 5 different dashboards and calling 2 engineers, can just type a simple question like this, in plain English, and get a real answer. So where does it get the answer? This is the secret sauce. The system connects to all the data sources you already have, but that don't talk to each other. Your real-time machine data, your production tracking, your maintenance logs, even your standard operating procedures. It effectively becomes the central brain for the entire factory. It can see the connections that a human might miss, that tiny detail in a maintenance log from last week that's causing today's drop in efficiency. It connects all the dots. So Let's pull all of this together, because the true revolution of AI in a factory has nothing to do with making pretty pictures. It's much, much bigger than that. It's about getting to the number one single unified interface where you can have a conversation with all of your factory's data. One place to ask questions, instead of a dozen different apps. And here's the most important part. This isn't some tool that's locked away for data scientists. It's for everyone. The person on the line, the shift reader, the engineers, the manager. It empowers everybody to find solutions way, way faster. I mean, just think about that shift. For decades, our data has just been silent. It sits there in a database and we have to go look at it. This changes everything. It turns that silent data into an active partner that you can literally talk to. The time between seeing a problem and finding a solution just collapses. This is how your data stops being a report card of what happened yesterday and becomes a true strategic weapon. It becomes your competitive advantage, your combat power that helps you make smarter, faster decisions every single day. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. The old way of doing things was to escalate problems up the chain to a few experts. But what happens when anyone on your team can just have a conversation with your data and get an instant, factual answer? Who solves the next big problem? The answer is anyone. And that could change absolutely everything.